Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Another show. Akish Aklord Mullins. Moving right along. We're going to get straight into this story. Today's I want to talk to you about is the system broken or the people? The reason why I'm asking you that is because I'm getting tired of seeing of the argument stating that uh the system is broken, we're always cheated, we can never do anything. Going into court, the black man is back is against the wall because the system is against them. The system is made for them. It was not made for us. And then in the beginning, I agreed with everybody when they said that until I had to think about something. And today I was talking to, it doesn't matter. And it dawned on me when, again, the question of, the system being against us and that the system was not built for us, it was built for them, which, yes, this is true. The system could have been, the system was built for them. Everything, the laws, everything here was built for them. Let's just go with that. Even if that was the case, looking at this picture right here, you see a white judge, you see a black judge. If the system was created for them, we will only have one kind of judge. But here I see a white judge, I see a black judge. Don't mind that these judges are are female. That's not the point here. The reason why these women are here is because of what they did that has something to do with what it is that I'm saying, but it's also doesn't represent that this is just a female judge issue. This is a all judge issue. It's just that these two females represents the two groups that I'm focusing on in this video. For instance, we're going to start with ex-judge Nikita Blockton. Ex-judge Nikita Blockton, she was elected to the bench in Alabama, and she was removed from the bench in Alabama over a series of unprofessional comments and other unbecoming actions. As a judge, we look to you for a lot of things. We also look to you to be impartial and fair. We know in court there is no such thing as equal, there is only a such thing as being fair. What Miss Blockton did, the reason why I have her in I have her up here is because when I first came across this story, I thought that the this two separate stories of Judge Blockton and Judge Odinet were together. I thought that Judge Odinet had did something to Judge Blockton, and then they wanted to create a whole big narrative like they've always been doing since the beginning of time, that as long as I can remember. But I was wrong. These were two separate stories, two separate incidents. Judge Blockton's situation is just not as, you know what? I'll let you decide. We'll get there. We'll stick to Miss Blockton. You'll find the link to this story. All you have to do when you go down to the description in the description below, you'll see it'll say Alabama judge who called colleagues Uncle Tom, Heifer, and Fat Bitch booted from office. You'll find a link to that full story in the description below. Now, here is the problem that Ms. Blocken has. It says, noting a pattern and practice of making inappropriate comments, the the non-judge panel highlighted instances in which Blockton referred to one judge as an Uncle Tom, another judge as a fat bitch, and another one and an employee as a heifer. They always say there's a time and a place for everything, and unfortunately, right now, I'm finding it kinda hard. Okay, let me say this. If Miss Blockton called a judge a Uncle Tom, a fat bitch, and a heifer outside of work, off the clock, in her own personal time, in their own personal area, I would not have a problem with this. But if Judge Blockton called the judge and Uncle Tom a fat bitch and an employee a heifer while on the clock, that is a problem. But having this attitude, period, is a problem because how can you sit how can you sit behind a bench and judge unbiasedly, preside and judge unbiasedly over a case if you already have feelings have racial feelings because you're using words like Uncle Tom. You already have feelings of somebody's weight because and actually you have a feeling of somebody's weight twice because a heifer is a female cow and you call one a fat bitch and you call another one a heifer, which basically you have a problem with someone's weight. And looking at your picture, you're a slim woman, so that means that you have a problem with the way people look. You have a problem with someone's political view that's outside of yours. Anyone who has anything different from you, you will find some physical feature or some other feature of them to make fun of. And if you can do this off the bench, you can't tell me that you haven't been doing this on the bench. But maybe a defendant came in, or it could be either the defendant or someone who, or a plaintiff can come in, and maybe they can look a certain way that you don't like, or maybe they can have a political belief that you don't like, or a religious belief that you don't like, and you judge against them, which is the reason why I agree with you being removed from the bench, and I have no problem with it. Going further, it says some of the former judge's comments, the panel said, actually constituted a pattern of abuse directed towards her staff, attorneys who appear before her, and litigants in her courtroom. The heifer remark was cited again in this context, and the report says she also belittled another employee without going into details. Again, like I said, showing a repeated pattern. Side note, I've worked with somebody who displayed these same qualities right here. Because it's like it's I don't know what it is about some people in power just don't mix. I feel like if you were someone who never had power, who was always ignored, always played the back, never was the main character, never was in the front of the line and everything else. Once you get in a position where you're able to make the rules, where you're able to be that powerful person, some people get drunk with power. Moving on. Judge Blockton also ordered employees to allow her to view their private cell phones so that she can go in and get information, change information, delete information so that the commission could not find the evidence they needed to remove her from her position as judge in the state of Alabama. Judge Blockton made her employees work unreasonable hours, including excessive, unproductive, and unnecessary late night and weekends. And she made repeated threats to fire employees in an attempt to intimidate them. Blockton also called attorneys, forcing them to beg Blockton not to fire an employee who has spoken with a litigant about the harm she had suffered due to the delay in resolving the litigant's case. All of this right here, I'm gonna just let that speak for itself. Again, this is more on a judge. You can read that read more into that yourself. Again, you can also look into the description below. But I'm in this with Miss Blockton like this. If Miss Blockton was not a judge, and let's just say she was a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and she did everything else that she did in here right now, Miss Blockton would not have been removed from the bench. Actually, Miss Blockton would be going to jail for a long time. But because she was a judge, is the reason why they just removed her from the bench and not sent her to jail like they would have did anyone else for the lies, the intimidation, and everything else that she did. Because like I said, I'm gonna leave that one. I'm gonna leave that one to let y'all decide. But like I said, I just added that one in there. Why? Miss Odinet, I mean, this is Miss Odinet. We're about to get to this chick right here in a minute. Miss Blockton, the reason why like I said, I had her up there is to show that the system is broken. No, the people who are over the system are broken. Miss Blockton look like you, look like me. Miss Blockton can sit on that bench and she can rule fairly. Why? Because she has guidelines that, you know what? We'll get into that explanation in a minute. Let's move on to Miss Odinet. Judge Michelle Odinet. The story is Louisiana judge claims that a sedative is the reason for her using racial slurs after video footage recorded in her home leaked out into the public. Judge Odinet, 52, can be heard using the racial slur nigger in a viral video clip which was recorded last weekend in her family home in Brindale Garden, Lafayette, Louisiana. The problem I have with this video is they're watching the video on a home TV. Someone is recording the video of them watching the video on their phone, and you can hear everyone commentating on the video, and everyone was using the word nigga. Everyone, mom, children, and all. But it says while watching security footage of a black male attempting to break into the house, Miss Odinet, along with other members of the family, can clearly be heard using they said N word, but no, they didn't use the N word. They used nigga. N word, nigga. Two different words. She said nigga, as well as other profanity. When we when you see this video, when you see the video, you're gonna understand the reason why. Like at first, again, I've been accused a time, a two, a million, that I shoot too many people bail too much. Which I don't know, man. I try to give everybody a chance because People make mistakes. Mistakes happen. We all make mistakes. Sometimes we say things that we shouldn't say. Sometimes we do things that we shouldn't do. Sometimes we associate with people that we shouldn't. Sometimes we stay too long. Sometimes we be late. Sometimes we be a little bit too early. We can break something. It can be anything for why we have to apologize. And sometimes mistakes happen. People need second chances or third or fourth or fifth. It takes them a moment to get it right. But in this case, when you watch the video, you hear someone clearly yells out, and mom yells, "Nigger, nigger!" And then you hear someone saying, "We have a nigger. It's a nigger, like a roach." I don't even know what the fuck that means though, but you know what? I really don't have to say too much more about this one myself per se because the video speaks for itself. I was just trying to set it up because mainly the video is okay. You know what?
Mom goes, "Why are the lights to your
When I
truck
pull up
on?"
in the whip, they be saying, "God
I'm like,
damn!"
why are your lights on? They're like, pull up, pull up.
And mom's yelling, "Nigger, nigger!"
Oh, kid, we have a nigger. It's a nigger. Like a roach.
Look, that's me.
No, that's
I
me
came
on
from the
that
backside.
side. Look, he trips over the.
I'm gonna say that Judge Odinet claims that her family doesn't talk like this. Her family doesn't act like this. Her family doesn't feel like this. That it was drugs that made her say all this stuff. The funny thing is, if it was drugs that made you say all this stuff, is your whole family on drugs right now, or just you? Because I find, let me just finish the video.
He tripped twice. He tripped twice.
I was the only one running.
That's
You
me.
were standing the right
Kenny
way.
was standing. I'm the one that took him down. Kenny's just standing there.
He lied. That was his wallet.
Yeah.
That's my phone where it fell out.
Look, Mom. The dude had a phone on him. You should have taken his phone and stolen from him, that fucking asshole.
And
Again, this is a judge, everybody. I want you to remember that was a judge who told her children, "You should have stole his phone. He's a fucking asshole." Ma'am, you're a judge. You put people in jail like him for stealing someone's cell phone. But you're encouraging this behavior. But your family don't do stuff like this, huh?
now I'm going to grab a gun.
Go and get the gun.
It's important. Very important.
As me and Austin maintain control of the situation.
The great thing is we've got video. We've got fuck. Look, they're with the car. Wait, look, there's
And look, here comes
there's
Rebel.
Want to play fetch? Rebel is supposed to play this.
You know what I find funny that I didn't peep until just now? Towards the end of the video, before she went on to say something else, she mentioned that if there wasn't a video, and she couldn't be more right about that. If there wasn't a video about what her and her family, like, look at this family. Look at this family. If you look at this picture, you would not think that they think like that. You would not think that they spoke like that. This look like the average American family, doesn't it? This look like the family that America shows you. But as you can see, as I said, dear judge, sorry, not sorry. We don't believe you. Signed, no F's given. Because we give no F's. Now we seen the problems that with these two judges. And the problem with these two judges is they have power, they are racist, and they are bigots. These two women are racist, and these two women are bigots. And when you have racist and bigot judges, racist and bigot prosecutors, racist and bigot jurors, you end up with people like this. I hope I don't butcher his name, but I believe I want to say Rugel Aguilera Menderosa, 26, 110 years old. Oh, no, he's 26 years old, 110 years in prison for a traffic accident. This man is going to die in jail for a traffic accident. After reading the grievances against Judge Blockton and hearing the video that was leaked by a family member, because you can't tell me that it wasn't, because that's who it was, by a family member, a Judge Odinet, of her and her family in the house, just having a good old powwow around the TV, being very racist and bigoted. You can now see my frustrations now when it comes to the sentencing of Rugel Aguilera Menderosa, 26, in his 110-year traffic sentence. The reason why this is also becoming a thing is because the prosecutors have now are now petitioning the court to reconsider the 100-year prison sentence. The reasoning behind the sentencing is uh Rugel, 26, caused an accident that resulted in the deaths of Miguel, 24, Bailey, 67, Harrison, 61, Stanley, 69. The lengthy punishment has sparked widespread criticism from those who said that that tragedy was not intentional but was an accident resulting from the truck's brakes failing. Now, the judge over the case also had mixed feelings about the sentencing because unfortunately the way the law is in Colorado when it comes to this particular accident, instead of him having to serve the time together, he has to serve the time one after another. And once you add up all the years he got for doing them one after the other, it added up to 110 years in jail, which actually ultimately means he will spend the rest of his natural life behind bars over a traffic accident. It states Colorado law required the imposition of the sentence in this case. The law also permits the court to reconsider its sentence in an exceptional case involving unusual and extenuating circumstances. Alexis King, district attorney for the first judicial district of Colorado, wrote in a filing dated Friday. Now, you can read through all of this, but it's like I stated, the prosecutors, which I think I've never heard this before. This is my first time hearing about this, but from what I gather from the story, the prosecutors went and found a loophole for the judge to use when it came to sentencing Mr. Rugel. Um, And instead of the judge going with that loophole, the judge went with what the law actually stated and just went one after the other with Mr. Rugel. Here is where now my problem come in at, which now brings Miss Blockton and Miss Odinet, the judge that was over this case, and the prosecutor, the system, all into play now. Which goes back to my question. Is it the system that is broken or the people? This looking at the case of this case right here, the law was the law, plain and simple, point blank period. It was what it was. The judge followed the law. Can we say that the judge is racist for following the law? No, the judge has the right to follow the law. The law stated that when it comes to this particular case, instead of it the sentence being carried out side by side, they have to do it one after the other. Was the judge wrong for making that happen if the law state that it had to be that way? No. But what I will say is when I say that the system, that's the part of the system. Also in the system are loopholes and other guidelines that judges can follow that they can go by. This is where we start to come and say that again, is the system broken or the people? I say the system is not broken because you have a law, then you have amendments, then you have all the other things that they add that give you cushion to use to soften the blow when you're delivering a sentence on someone that the prosecutors went in and presented to the judge to use in the beginning of this whole situation that the judge opted not to use. In that situation, we can look and say the system is not racist, the system is not a bigot. The person wielding the power of that system is the racist, is the bigot. And those are the people that we need to remove from the bench. We need to remove from the courthouses. We need to remove from the prosecutor's office. We need to remove from the police departments. We need to remove from every aspect of society because it's these people, these secret agents of racists and bigotry that is causing the problem and keeping this going. Because as I've stated, the system is not broken, the people are. And until we get these broken people out of positions of power, we will continue to live under a broken system. So, you heard what I had to say. What say you?